Hello, welcome to Me and My Golf. We're your coaches, Andy and Pierce, and it's time for another Q&A. We've got loads to come. Pierce, tell the guys at home what to expect.
Andy, we're talking about junior golf, we're talking about ball striking, we're talking about fixing swing faults, we're talking about hitting the golf ball further. Lots to talk about. Guys, let's take charge of your game.
So loads of questions coming in through Instagram and Facebook. Now, if you want your question answered for next Q&A, make sure you post yours down below. What are you struggling? What would you like to ask us? Ask us anything, and we will see if we can answer it for you.
Do it right now.
Yes, post down below, guys.
Do it right now.
Right, okay, we're going to Instagram first of all today, and we've got S Taylor 1990. I tend to struggle with mental focus throughout my round. Any tips on how to mentally prepare before the first tee without overthinking, and how to maintain focus throughout the round with overthinking it? Cheers, guys. So I think when it comes to concentration, obviously it sounds like he's got a lot going on in his mind, Pierce. Overthinking it and maybe building it up too much. I think first of all, before you get to the tee, you need to have a plan. You need to be prepared with a plan. You need to have maybe practiced and warmed up, giving yourself the best chance possible. But in terms of overthinking it, Pierce, I think a lot of guys on the golf course, and we've been guilty of this in the past, is that you're on the golf course playing, but you're only playing 15% of the time. The rest is going to be walking around. So it's really important that you're on that walking around time, you're not concentrating too much. So the ability to be able to switch off and actually, relax in between shots is so key. Now, I know some guys have like a trigger to concentrate when they need to. So some guys, it'll be when they put their glove on before they play the shot. That means concentration. And then when they switch off, they'll have a trigger where maybe the club goes back in their bag. So that time between putting the glove on means right now is the time to focus and focus on what I need to do. But as soon as the club goes back in the bag, Pierce, it means then you can switch off and actually enjoy the round. You don't have to concentrate for the whole round. It's quite hard work doing that.
It's just not possible. I mean, we often talk about an egg timer. So you think of the sands in an egg timer. As soon as you flip that over and you concentrate, there's only so much concentration you can do. Now, if you can concentrate for 4.5 hours around a golf course, good luck.
Yes,
it's hard work. You come up with an extremely large headache. So, like Andy said there, you've got to have these triggers to switch it off. Now, switching off concentration maybe can be relatively easy, but it's then have the ability to be able to put it back on. So, like Andy said, the glove is a great way of an on and off switch. If you have a motorised trolley, on and off switch is great. Club in the bag, as you said, on and off switch. Could even be, we've done it before with actually getting a coloured dot on the glove. I remember Louis Eustahazen did this. St Andrews, it was a yellow dot on his glove. Dr. Carl Morris gave him that. And it was an on off switch. And he obviously helped him win his major.
Definitely. Right, okay. Pierce, you want to go to Facebook question?
Yeah, okay, Facebook question. Okay, Darryl Hall. Help needed with lead wrist coat hanger. Help needed with lead wrist coat hanger tried. Any training tips? So what Darryl is saying is, we'll put the image in there as well actually, he's got an extended lead wrist. So we call a cupped wrist here an extended wrist. That is flexed. So he's wanting to get more of the DJ or a flatter wrist at least. Coat hanger is great. It's really good if you are not necessarily hitting shots. Hitting shots with a coat hanger is a bit tricky, so we always like to give you something that you can actually hit shots and be aware of exactly where you are. So, big T-peg, watch needed. So place the T-peg down the back of the watch like so. So if I extend my wrist, you'll see that I'm putting pressure into the T-peg. If I keep the pressure away from that T-peg, I have a pretty much flat lead wrist. Darryl? Going to work.
Definitely. There's also some good training aids out there as well. I know the Tour Striker Wrist Educator from Martin Chuck, really good one. Make sure you check that out as well. Just helps keep that left wrist a bit more neutral through the golf ball. So check that out.
Very good. So we actually had a load of questions talking about the length of backswing. So I had people saying that they have a short backswing which works really well and they struggle to do a long backswing. We have people who've said that they have quite a long swing and they hit their long irons well, but their short irons they feel like they quit on them a little bit. So when you start hearing these sort of questions, like someone saying they hit the ball well with a short swing, continue to do that then. Someone who struggles with a short iron swing, they feel they're quitting on it. We often find that someone, when they're hitting a wedge 998 iron, that they do go too long in their backswings. So by actually shortening your backswing, and I tend to have my short iron swing a little bit shorter, you can definitely get a little bit more control. So you think of the best players in the world, when they hit a long iron, they want it up in the air. When they hit a short iron, they want to keep the trajectory down a little bit so they can actually be more accurate and access flags better. So basically what we're saying is short iron swings, shorter back swings, absolutely fine.
Yeah,
definitely recommend.
And we were talking off camera actually. We said that there's not many people, I can't think of, well, hardly any that we've said, right, we need to lengthen your golf swing. But we have definitely told a lot of people that we need to shorten the golf swing because it just gives you a better face, position, and just more consistency, really. So, if, like Piers said, if you're having success with a short golf swing, why change it? Yeah, why change it?
I don't think I've ever told anyone who's been playing golf for any period of time to actually lengthen their backswing.
No,
maybe a couple of people.
Just yourself.
Just actually myself.
Just yourself, actually.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Very good.
Okay, right. Our friend Jensen Stork. Hi, Jensen. Hope you're okay. He says a key tip for young golfers wanting to be a pro in the future. What are the key things they can focus on to become a professional?
Yeah. Okay. So, wow, this is a question I've probably been asked. You've probably been asked thousands of times by all the junior golfers that we've coached, their parents as well. I think the support network is the first thing that you need to make sure you get, so the parents obviously understand what is best for you. The other thing I always say to people, when you're 22, 23, don't have that regret of looking back at your golfing life and think, well, I should have just practiced a little bit harder. So always think there's always someone practicing harder than you. If you want to do this for a career, you can never do enough work. So that's from a mindset point of view and a work ethic point of view, that's what I'd recommend. But there's other things as well, Andy, isn't there, about how you should go about this work ethic?
Yeah, I think the key thing as well, look, you've got to have fun. I know Jensen works very hard. We've seen obviously a lot of your stuff, Jensen. I know you work extremely hard. You can always work harder, but I'd say have fun as well. You know, when you're out there practicing and playing, compete with your friends. If you're going to go and play, I know when we used to play as juniors, we'd go in stupid situations, we'd be on a course and we'd put ourselves round a green and we'd say, right, nearest the pin here, 5 balls, closest wins, and developing that imagination in tricky situations, but also under pressure. You know, if we were to do that, you automatically feel that pressure when you're playing for something. So have fun, compete, and use your imagination. Play as much variety of shots as you can.
John Rahm very much spoke about that, didn't he, after his win at Torrey Pines. And the other 2 things we recommend are hit the golf ball absolutely miles and have an amazing short game.
Yeah.
So if you can work at having a really good short game, which you're going to get by doing the fun, and obviously by having the fun, you're going to want to do more of it anyway as well. So you're kind of working hard. It's a really good sort of way of improving.
Yeah, definitely find a way to hit the golf ball hard, Jensen. Really key. Right, Piers, another one?
Right, let's go for another one. So we've got a Facebook question from Mark Capo. What is the difference between a long iron swing strike versus a mid iron swing? Andy, over to you.
A long iron swing strike. Well, the difference between the strike is that the long iron is going to be slightly shallower. So you're not going to be hitting down as much on a long iron. Ball position may be slightly forward with a long iron. And obviously the shaft it's a longer shaft, so the club is going to swing slightly different around the body. But in terms of playing the shot differently, look, I think the long iron is generally about producing the power. You know, if you know, whereas a short iron generally is you're really looking for control. So I would say potentially with me, I would say I will have a shorter golf swing with my shorter irons and a slightly longer golf swing with my longer irons. But the difference, I'm looking for different things out of them. I'm looking to control distance on the short ones. I still want to control distance on the long ones, but really it's a power club. So
yeah, and I think the one thing that I would say on that is that, you know, I'm assuming you're asking the question because your long irons aren't as good as his mid irons, but the problem sometimes said there, and Andy says about the long irons, is it is about more power. You feel that you have to be more powerful with it, so you try and hit it harder. Just put the same swing on from a tempo point of view on all of your shots. I wouldn't try and hit them any harder. Like Andy said, the ball position can change a little bit, and maybe your intent on how you want to shape the ball can change. But generally, you know, keep the same tempo when you're playing all these iron swings. It's going to be more consistent.
Yeah. Okay. Right, question from Mark Kelly on Instagram. Who will win the remaining majors of the year?
Ooh, Mark when we won the John Rahm Cup, I think, actually. So maybe John Rahm could be one of those who wins. Remaining majors, right, okay. I'd love Sergio to win, obviously, being a big Sergio fan, but I think he's done. I think he'll still be wearing his green jacket for the rest of the year. Who's going to win them? Right, okay. I'd love Ricky Fowler to win because I think it's good for the game that he does win one. Dustin Johnson is going to win the US Open. Ricky Fowler's going to win the USPGA. And who's going to win the Open?
Who's in Birkdale? Birkdale.
Oh, I love Tiger.
It's a tricky one.
I love Tiger.
Tiger's not going to win.
Yeah,
he won't be playing. He won't be playing.
Found out the other day. Another back operation. Right. Okay. Who's the other one who's going to win it for me? I think DJ's going to win too.
You think he's going to win too?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Okay, so I'm going to go with. I think DJ's going to win something this year. I would say. Do you know what Birkdale's?
Harrington won there last time.
He did win there last time. Yeah. Who would win there? I'm thinking more of a good, solid iron player around there. Precision, really.
Golf course, isn't it?
I'm gonna go with Spieth. I think Spieth will win the Open, and the what did I say?
USPGA.
USPGA.
Dustin Johnson's
okay, US Open.
Those.
US Open, Dustin Johnson. USPGA, I'm going to go with.
It's a Quail Hollow, isn't it? So they've played it a lot. So it could be a PGA Tour player wins this, I think, because they played the golf course a lot.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking
it's
Fowler's going to win it.
Tricky one. Could Wes Bryan win it?
I hope so. How good would that be?
You don't know, do you? You don't know. Okay, I'm going to come back to that one. I'm not going to give an answer on that one. I'm struggling on that one.
Done.
I'm done. I've got too many names going through my mind at the moment. I'll come back to that next week.
That's the question next week, please.
Yeah, there we go. I'm giving you 2 out of 3.
So a question from Nigel Fig on Facebook saying, how do I book private lessons with you and do you still coach? Yes, we do. We still coach, obviously. Email is info@meandmygolf.com and come and see us. Yeah, we'll come and see you, depending on where in the world you are.
Okay, right, so we have a question from Ben Short. Struggling a little hitting 1/2 and 3/4 wedge shots. Any tips? Really common one this is people struggle with those delicate sort of 3/4 half pitch shots. So what we're going to do is get to the golf course and show you some things you can work on to fix that. Let's go.
So Andy, these half little pitch shots, they're rather pesky, aren't they? What problems do people get when they're hitting these shots?
I think a lot of people struggle with them so much because it just requires a lot less effort and a lot less power. Now, one of the things that we see a lot amongst golfers is they are great at creating this power with their full shots, but when it comes to the half shots, they almost apply the same swing clear, same technique. So we always talk about it a lot. Look, when it's short game, it's about controlling distance. When it's long game, it's about creating it often. So look, we're going to focus on the lower body. And often we see with golfers on these short shots, they still have this sort of excessive drive with the legs. So we're going to see a lot of people do that same sort of move where they accelerate the legs, accelerate the club a lot, and they get very active. But also that really generates almost too much speed, Pierce, really. So as we said, we want to control it, so we want a much softer motion. So we're really going to look at the quietening the legs down. So what I'm going to focus on here, I've got the wedge here, and I'm going to put the wedge underneath my trail foot. Now I'm literally going to hit some shots here, and I'm going to make sure this heel stays down.
Okay.
Really softer swing, allowing the momentum to do a little bit of work, but you'll notice how the right foot and the lower body is really quiet, and this really helps me control the speed and soften things up here.
So that club is not allowed to hit the ground whatsoever?
No, it's just going to stay there. Hopefully.
Very simple, very simple.
Anyway.
All right, let's see you do it.
Okay, here we go. So let's have a little go here and just feel as if the lower body's quiet. Nip that off nicely. Bit of spin there now.
Oh, nice.
Checked up nicely. So again, controlling that distance is so key on the short game. Make sure you switch it up between that long and short. Great drill to help that pitching.
Right, Andy, we've got a question from Martin Roval. Has said, how do you stop early extension? I always thrust my hips forward at impact. I'd appreciate it for the answer. Thank you. What's early extension first of all, Andy?
Okay, so for the guys that don't know at home what the early extension is, it's really when the pelvis in the downswing moves towards the golf ball, often sort of resulting in the upper body moving up, causing the club sometimes to get sort of trapped behind you, but also moving further away as well with this high handle, So, you know, keeping the pelvis back gives you the room to rotate the hips as well and just helps with consistency of ball flight and direction. So most people focus on the pelvis, as we mentioned, Pierce, but we're going to look at the feet and what the feet do when we early extend and actually give you a simple drill that can help you improve your footwork, which will improve your pelvis through the golf ball. So let's take a look closely at what happens with the early extension with the feet. So as we see in the downswing, often with the early extension, we see the hips thrust forward, but so does the trail foot. So you can see here my trail foot is thrusting forward, weight going into the toes, very difficult to rotate from here. Now, often the weight goes into both toes as well. So what we're going to focus on doing here now, I've got the alignment stick straight through the middle of my feet, underneath the arches. Now what I'm going to focus on doing is I'm going to swing down, I'm going to roll the weight onto the inside of the trail foot, but as I come down to impact, I'm going to really get the toes on the lead foot up off the ground. So you can see I've got the right heel up and I've got the toes up on the left foot here. So you can see as a result of that, the pelvis is staying back. I can feel all the weight into the heel in this foot, and I'm fixing that early extension.
No early extension whatsoever. The handle is coming in nice and low as well, which is great for someone who early extends. And
really
that's really
exaggerating that as well. You can see how.
Can you hit shots doing that?
Definitely.
Okay, let's see you doing them.
Okay. So really getting the feeling, the weight's going into the heel. I'm rolling onto the instep of that trail foot. Right, here we go.
Nice. And
You
you
can
can
nice
see when
strike there on that one.
you can see really working hard when you're finishing there, Andy, that heel was definitely planted firmly in the ground. The toes were up, and you can actually exaggerate that, getting that feeling those toes coming up in the air.
Start slow, but then go to the speed. Hopefully you get the good feeling in that.
Good job.
Thank you. So next question we have, Sebastian Soderman, do you have any drills to help hit a low ball flight? I tend to hit it too high. I'm losing distance because of that.
Okay. He asked for a drill.
Yes, for a drill for a low ball flight.
We have a great drill. So when we're talking about hitting the ball too high, Andy, we are often seeing too much dynamic loft. So when striking the golf ball there, this may be exaggerating it, but the shaft length backwards or maybe even vertical, creating too much dynamic loft. Now, we've got loads of drills that we can do to help this. This is one of our best ones. Often we find that the trail hand is often responsible for that adding of dynamic loft for numerous other swing faults potentially, but in this instance here, this is just to reduce the dynamic loft. So you're going to go trail hand only. First thing you're going to do is you're going to have the shaft length forward a little bit, and then you're going to have some mini backswings, and then you're going to return with the shaft length forward a little bit more. Now you'll notice when I'm doing this, take great care in where the club face is pointing. I still want the club face pointing towards my target. Andy, how often do we see when people try to reduce dynamic loft, they get the club face left open to the right?
Exactly, yeah.
And this is absolutely going to make you a worse golfer. So be very mindful when you're doing these little mini swings that yes, you get the shaft length forward more, but yes, you get the club face squared up to the target.
Yeah, it's really important that you do that, because otherwise it's the ball's going right and further right.
And you're just not going to work at that the next time. You're going to hit one shot doing that, and then you're never going to do it again.
And it's just a great way again to feel what the sort of the right hand does through impact. Really, you know, we're holding that sort of right wrist a little bent through impact, or just before impact certainly, and it helps just keep that shaft leaning forward. Nice strong ball flight as well.
It's almost like a Mickelson chip shot, you know, sort of creating the angle and then we're holding the angle, but again we have to square the face up. So I'm going to hit it like this as well, so you haven't got to hit golf balls doing this, but you can do as long as you just feel comfortable in doing so. I'm just going to do a little mini one here. It's going to go 10-15 yards. So from here I set the angle and then I hold the angle, and you saw the ball flight there was very low, beautifully positioned on that third tee down there, but look at the angle. I'm holding the angle, giving me the feedback. This is exaggerating it. If you hit a full 8 iron doing this, it's going to go too low, but if you hit the golf ball too high, it's a great exaggeration drill.
There we go. Okay, so great way there, Sebastian, to get that dynamic loft lower, shaft leaning forward. Hope it helps. Make sure you post your comments and let us know if it does. So earlier we talked about the difference between hitting a long iron and a short iron. Now we've got the perfect situation here at the 18th at the Asprey, over the water, 200 yards into the wind. This is a perfect opportunity to see Pierce hit it in the water, maybe. But it's a great opportunity to elaborate a little bit on what we talked about, Pierce, the difference of what we need to do in this situation, especially with the hazard and into the breeze as well. Yeah,
I think, look, so many people, when they know they've got to hit the golf ball further, as we said, they try and put more effort into it more than they would do their other golf swings. And often with this hazard in front as well, when they get this, they'll try and actually lift it into the air. So there's actually, we'll come to that in a second, but there's two things we're going to do. The first thing is, as we said before, we're going to maintain the same tempo that we would do with all of our swings. So I'm not going to try and hit it any harder. I'm going to maintain the tempo that I will do, whether it be a mid-iron, a short iron, or a driver. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, as we said, when we have a obstacle in front of us, whether it be a bunker or a massive, massive pond that we have here, a lot of people will try and hit it off the back foot to try and lift their long iron into the air, because long irons can be hard to get into the air for a lot of people. The problem with that is we're going to get the low point before the golf ball. Now on a tee peg you might be okay, but as soon as you put the golf ball flat to the ground, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So all I'm going to work out on this golf shot is that I'm going to have the good tempo that I mentioned, the same tempo, and I'm going to stick my finish. So whatever happens, I will be sticking my finish until that golf ball pitches on the green a couple of feet from the flag.
And it's even harder today because the temptation to swing a bit faster to get it over the water and into the breeze as well,
Yes.
all adds to it. So let's see if
Okay.
we can get it on the green piece here close.
All right. And
Tough shot today.
yeah, tough shot today. I'll take it on though. I'll take it on. Here we go.
Really nice.
Yeah, not bad.
Keep watching that one. Keep watching
Left
it.
a little bit. Yeah.
Not bad, about 10 feet right there.
Yeah, that's not bad.
With
That's
a 3
fucking
iron.
brilliant.
Okay, so some very useful tips there for you guys. I think, you know, certainly in this situation, it's one thing that we see amateurs do all the time, but that would definitely work for a hybrid as well. Often a lot of guys would use a hybrid for this situation.
Yeah, we see so many people hit shots. We're filming here all the time. We see so many people hitting shots from these tees and they're hitting it off that back foot. So definitely stick that finish.
Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that. Make sure again you post any questions and comments down below for next week. We'll get to as many as we can with these. Love the Q&A style because it gives us an opportunity to answer
More.
lots of your questions. So hope you're enjoying them. Leave us a comment and we'll see you next time. So if you really want to improve your game this year and you want our help, make sure you hit the subscribe button to see videos every week.
Yes, and make sure you check out the previous video over here. And in May, it is Find a Fairway May at meandmygolf.com. So click on the link down there, go to the website, get ready for this video series, loads of content. You're going to love it. We'll see you there.